Good morning, welcome to day 7. This is the first juice of the day. It's the some of the carrot and apple and melon juice that I made last night. So I'm going to have that now, and I'll see you in a while. Right, this is the second juice of the day, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did for the first juice. Do some carrots, some apples, and some of this Sapo de Piel, which is Santa Claus melon. Right, so that's it, and that's the juice. There's a good litre of juice in there, and I'm going to eat the whole lot, and drink the whole lot I should say. I especially like that foamy bit that's on the top of it. It's really nice. I just want to reiterate that I'm 6'2", and you know, when I started this thing I weighed 229 pounds, so you know, you've obviously got to adjust these things to for your own physique, you know, your own size and dimensions and stuff like that. You know, it depends, you know, what you weigh, what height you are before you judge how much juice you can drink. But I think, you know, you drink until you're full. This one is going to obviously make me stuffed. I'm going to drink it over a certain amount of time. It's a Sunday, so I'm going to go in and we're going to chill out and watch a bit of Netflix for an hour, then go out and do some work. And we've got a football match later on, Arsenal versus, who are we playing? I can't remember, Bournemouth I think it is. See you later. So we're getting to the end of the first week, day 7, and for the most part it's been pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's been no major problems or anything like that. You know, there's discomfort in anything like this. You know, any change that you're ever going to do is going to cause a certain amount of discomfort. You know, there's just nothing that you can do against that. You know, you've got your comfort zone, which is sort of in the center of what you used to doing. That's what habits are all about. You know, you get into a habitual behavior, whether that's something that's bad in your life or something that is, you know, not so terrible. I mean, eating can be good or bad. Drinking, for instance, you know, for me, putting a toxin inside your body is all the time bad. You know, I can't see anything good in that. When I was drinking, I saw everything good in it, and the lifestyle was there. I always thought that was me. It was a part of who I was. I was a Guinness man through and through, and I'd always be drinking Guinness. And then when I moved to Spain, the Guinness was crap. You know, I couldn't drink the Guinness anymore, so I changed, and I changed that about myself. And all of a sudden I became a wine man, you know, or a lager man, and the lager was causing me a lot of different problems from a digestive point of view. You know, I couldn't go out walking, which I love to do, because I was getting so many acid burn in my stomach because of the lager I was drinking. And I'm sure the wine was contributing to that as well. But what I'm saying is that, you know, you can change overnight if you have a reason to do, right? I'm a Guinness man, always drink Guinness, had been drinking Guinness for 25 years, whatever it was, since I started drinking, really, legally anyway. And all of a sudden I can't get the Guinness anymore, and you change overnight. It's not nice. I mean, you have to get used to what you're doing, but you know, you change. So change is not the issue here. The issue is whether you're going to lead that change, whether you're going to think about it. You're going to think about how that change is going to affect your life and how it's going to affect the other people around you, but more importantly, how it's going to affect your life, because what you do in your life really affects everyone else as well. So if you care about other people, you've got to sort of take the reins of your own destiny into your own hands, if you like. So, you know, from that perspective, you know, all the good changes that you ever going to make in your life are going to be because you sat down and you thought about these things. You thought about what it is that you're doing, the problems that you're causing because of the behavior that you're doing, whatever it is, and because you're taking that behavior and you're deciding that you're going to change from this day forward. Then you have to accept the discomfort, that there is going to be some discomfort in the change. But you also have to understand that most discomfort in your life will not last, right? Especially with habit change. So you quit drinking, you get discomfort for a while because you have to go through all the things that you used to do with alcohol, and you have to change those, right? You're no longer allowed to go out and drink with your friends. You're no longer allowed to have a glass of wine with your dinner. You're no longer allowed to drink to relax or to drink to sleep and stuff. But once you get your head around these things, once you start to think about these things, these aspects of your life, I mean, drinking is one thing, and people lump the whole drinking into one big behavior, but it's not. It's a whole lot of different little things that you've have become embraced within that one behavior, right? And once you start to think about, you start to break down the habit and you realize this, then you can start to think about these individual aspects of the behavior, right? Some of these individual aspects that you wouldn't even think about if you were when you're in the middle of it, when you're surrounded by so much bullshit, right? And once you understand those little pieces of the puzzle, right, those little contributing aspects to the whole behavior, then you can start to think about those and to start to break those down and work on those. So for me, this is all about comparing what I am now. I know I'm only 7 days into this, right? This is my 7th day, but I already feel the benefits, right? And that's the way you have to do if you're quitting smoking, quitting drinking, any of those things. Sit down after 7 days, sit down after a couple of days and view yourself, right? That's why I say at the beginning, do a video of yourself before you've even changed, before you've made the change. Talk about what you're going to do, how you're going to approach this. Most importantly, just talk, because it's a reference point that you can go back to after 7 days or after 30 days or after 6 months or after 5 years, right? Go back to that first video that you made and it gives you an excellent reference point to who you were at that person. I often go back to the first video I made on alcohol mastery, for instance, and it just, for me, it's just a completely different person. It's unbelievable how much I've changed, so you have to understand that all of these things rely on you understanding that the discomfort is going to be there, that the discomfort is dependent on, to a certain extent, to a large extent really, on your mindset. So the more positive you can start out with, the more positive of a mindset you can have, the less that discomfort will be from day one, and the less the duration will be, right? So take it from that point of view first, that discomfort at the beginning depends on your mindset. The discomfort will only last so long anyway, because your brain is designed to formulate habits with what you're doing, not with what you're not doing. It formulates habits with what you're doing. So the longer you do something new, the more that repetition will become a habit, and that habitual behavior will become part of your life. And the alcohol will just become a distant memory. The old eating will become a distant memory. The smoking will become a distant memory. The procrastination will become a distant memory. All of those things, no matter what it is you're trying to do, it's the same sort of a thing, So from this perspective, I am getting hunger, but it's a hunger that I know and I understand is only temporary. As soon as I have if I get, I don't know what kind of hunger you might get, but I sort of get let's say the rumbling in the stomach, right? I suppose everyone gets that to a certain degree. As soon as you drink a bit of the juice, that goes away straight away, right? And you might not feel satiated, you might not feel full, but it goes away. That full feeling of that I was having when I was eating massive amounts of food, I'm used to not having that after 7 days, right? They say that your mind takes 20 minutes after you've eaten to get the signals that you're full, if you understand what I mean. So you have to eat your food, eat what you think is a reasonable amount of food, not overindulge, and then wait for your body, your mind to catch up. For whatever reason, I don't know why that is, you know. So it's just like, this is only going to be a month for me, right? And then I'm going to go back to, not to an old diet, but to something else. And as I said in a previous video, I'm going to, once day 20 comes along, 22, 23, I'm going to start thinking about what it is that I'm going to be doing. I'm already thinking about it, but I'm going to really start to start formulating a plan about what I'm going to do in days from 30 to 40, from 40 to 50, so on and so forth. So it's just one of those things. It's only 30 days. If you're going to do something else, then afterwards, then, you know, start to formulate it again. If you're doing the same thing, like in the case of if you're quitting drinking alcohol, you're quitting smoking or any of those things, then you've got to start thinking about it from day 22, 23, what you're going to be doing in the next 30 days. You've already got to a certain stage. Start to assess where you are now. Start to look back on your beginning, you know, that video that you made, and start to think about the positives that you're taking out of this, you know. What is it that you're going to bring forward into the next 30 days, right? It's the only way to do these things. But always remember that, you know, whatever discomfort you have is always momentary, right? Whether it's the discomfort of you're having cravings, you're hungry, or you're having to say no to somebody, you're having to avoid going to a party, right? You know, in a year's time, you won't even remember that party, right? That feeling of you saying no is going to be like, what is that, you know? You're not going to remember it. But if you give in to that, you're going to remember it, right? If you give in to that party and you were off the drink for 2 or 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, you're going to remember that day, you know, and it's going to eat away at your confidence, you know. So, you know, just think about these things all the time, that these discomfort moments, right, whether it is you saying no, whether it is the cravings, whether it is, you know, you feel like you can't do this, these are only thoughts, and it's only discomfort in that moment that you're in now. Moment is going to pass, right? Moment's going to pass, you're going to move on to something else. You won't remember any of this stuff, right? So that's the thing. I'll see you in a bit. I'm going to make a green juice before I go out to the match, and see you in a bit. Just back from the match now. That was probably the toughest part of the whole week. Normally when we're having a match, sometime during the match, the bar that we go to brings out chips, and it's really the only time that I have chips now. Rarely outside of that, you know, they bring out a plate of chips, as you probably saw in one of the things there. Yeah, and that was tough. Just there was a few people in there, and they just brought extra chips today, and I had to go without it. So plus we lost the match, but you know, at the moment the team is not playing really well, so I'm sort of expected that, you know. We haven't been playing well for a few years now. We're on the downward slope, I think, but that's another story. Anyway, came back, and Pubby's cheered me up a little bit. Esther's gone down for a curry now to take out. Normally we do on a Saturday or a Sunday. Usually on a Sunday we get a curry takeout, and we have half of it tonight and half of it tomorrow. So I've got this, my little cocoa water. There's two kinds. This one's about, I think it's 37 calories. I have to check this one out because it's ingredients is just cocoa water. but this one's got a bit extra fat in it, so it's got 1.6 grams of fat per 100 milliliters, 37 kilocalories, 37 calories per thing, so there's about 100 calories per one of these, which is 33 centiliters. So yeah, so that's my thing. I'm going to have another juice shortly, and to be honest, I'm going to talk to my son in he's finished work at 5 o'clock, so I'm going to chat away to him for an hour and then go back in and watch some TV. So I'm not going to be sat there watching Esther munching away in her curry. Although it's nice to smell it, but look, this is what we have to do, you know. I'm on this thing. Felt like grabbing some chips today, but I didn't. You know, that's just the way it is. So yeah, that was the toughest part of it. So I'm going to finish this now, have a chat with my son, probably make a juice beforehand. So there's another half an hour to go, and then yeah, I'll speak to you later on. I'll show you the juice, and then finish off day 7, I think. On to day 8 tomorrow, back to the gym in the morning. So see you in a bit. Smells really nice, that curry, but hey, it looked really nice as well, but there's chicken in it. So I'm going to stick to my juice. This is what I'm having today. Basically, I've just had the carrot apple with the melon combo. This time I mixed in a couple of small pepinos, the Spanish cucumbers in with it as well. So I've got this one. I put a bit of protein powder in it as well this time, because I went to the gym in the morning, and I've got one before I go to the gym in the morning, so whatever that was, it was probably a litre and a bit, that big jug full of stuff, and I split that in 2. I had half it myself, and then I'll probably have the other half in the morning, more than likely, before I go to the gym. It's an early one in the morning, so I'll be driving to the gym at about 6:30. And then I've got a client at 10, so I have to be back for that. So I'll see you in the morning. I'll see you, mate. Probably won't see you later on. See you in the morning. Bye.